Hello, welcome.
Now we're live.
Hello.
A little quick on the draw there.
Hello. You went like this.
I went like this and then fired.
Well, anyways, welcome to the KD Ratio. We're here.
What happened to 3-2-1 action?
Yeah.
The good old days.
I need you to stand up at the camera.
He's got to have the clicker, the clacker. But welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the stream, Come join us. Today we're going to be talking about, as you can see, the title, Dragon's Dogma 2 and some other stuff. But Kyle is the only one of us here who's played Dragon Dogma 2. And he's got some choice words.
You're making it sound like I'm really opinionated about this. Yeah, all right, you can hear us? We're good? All right. I wasn't ready for you to throw it to me like that. So here's my experience with Dragon's Dogma. I only have...
Is there dragons?
Dragon? Did I say
Is there dragons?
Dragmans?
I thought you were making fun of me, saying I said dragmans.
No, is there dragons?
Well, yeah.
Is there dogs?
Yeah.
Is there moths?
I'm sure there's mothers somewhere in the... Somewhere. Okay, so I have about... I don't know, an hour, a little over an hour in the game. So I'm not an authority on this game whatsoever. Playing on console, I haven't run into a single bug yet, but I haven't gone into, they say when you get into like the big cities and stuff, it starts to hurt the game a little bit.
Performance-wise. Right?
Performance-wise. Yeah. But my main issue right now is it just hasn't grabbed me in a way that like
Elden Ring?
Yeah, it's not, I was talking to you about this earlier. I said all the characters so far feel like NPCs. They don't feel like characters. Mm-hmm. And I understand it's not really fair for me to judge it this early on. So I'm still going to give it the benefit of the doubt. It might get better as I keep playing. But that's the only thing that's keeping me from really playing right now. The real controversy, for one, is performance on PC is apparently like abysmal. And their approach with microtransactions and a lot of stuff that they're charging you for in a single player game that's already cost $70. It's pretty fucking wild.
Before we dive into that, I do just have one question. What's the combat like?
Combat, I would say it's similar to Witcher in that there's, at least I'm playing as just a fighter. Uh-huh. So you got your heavy attack, your light attack, your quick kind of dashes, but then it's a little bit more involved. Like you can climb onto enemies if they're larger enemies. You can pick things up in the world and throw it and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you could do like jump attacks. It's not so far as a fighter. It's not like super combo heavy. Like you're not hitting like light, heavy, like to get a certain type of move out. Uh-huh. It might get that way as like you level up. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't really gotten that far into it. But I would liken it to like Witcher 3.
Okay.
It's similar to that.
Okay. Well, let's dive into the controversy then. So the big one that I know of, well, I mean, the two Kyle touched on is as far as DLC goes, or not DLC, but microtransactions, they actually hid them, or they didn't hide them, but they just didn't present them to the reviewers.
That's pretty shady.
Yeah. But I heard that a lot of companies do that. Ubisoft does that, like with Assassin's Creed.
Surprise.
And then what they'll especially do too, Ubisoft, I do know this, like Assassin's Creed, I want to say Odyssey, they release the game and then all the reviews come out. 3 months later is when those time savers come out. And so like the review is still good because you can't go back and say, let me lower my rating to this because of the time savers because they didn't exist. So I've seen that before, but this one, it sounds like they were in the game from the beginning and they just said, look at this version of it without it.
Yes, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of a shady practice on Capcom's part.
What exactly are the microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma?
Things like as simple as
What's up, Something Cool Gaming?
Fast travel.
Fast travel?
Yeah, like I haven't looked into it too much, but I know that's one of them. We have an article up here right now, but like end game items you can buy to make leveling quicker and things like that. Apparently, everything that you can buy, you can also just unlock by playing. From a few non-official sources I've been reading, like through Reddit and stuff, they said that. But what I mean, it's almost been unheard of up until like 5 years ago that they would even have this type of microtransaction shit like in a single player, non-multiplayer game. Like battle passes for a single player game, that's pretty fucking weird.
Is there battle passes in this?
I don't think there's not
Oh.
like a traditional battle pass, but like it's gonna get to that point.
This is not a live service game, and the fact that they're selling microtransactions it is awkward.
It is Capcom though, right?
Yeah.
Capcom is very famous for ruining games with microtransactions.
Capcom has such a large repertoire.
They have really great games, but then they have ones like this, like Metal Gear is Capcom, right? No, is Konami Capcom?
Konami and Capcom are two different
Okay,
things.
then never mind. Not Metal Gear.
Let's see. Capcom games.
My 2 cents on this whole take is when you know how you're going to monetize the game, such as fast travel or some of these other items like helping you kill bosses and making it easier and stuff like that, you're incentivized to make the game more and more inconvenient.
Yes.
And so that's the problem, I think, with this, and why a lot of people are upset is it's not the fact that it's in the game. It's like, well, you could choose to use it or not. But when they understand the monetization model, they're going to be incentivized to be like, oh, well, yeah, doesn't mind that. That sucks because actually we'll be able to generate more income, revenue from that.
So I can't speak to Dragon's Dogma, but like with Assassin's Creed, that's a single player game, right? They added those time savers. What they were, one of them was an XP, like double XP, because you took so long to grind. And so like you can directly see that they spent time making the grind longer so that you got annoyed and you wanted it.
Yep.
Like, but otherwise, if the game had just come out, that's why I think a lot of people like,
Elden Ring.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Elden Ring or like Nintendo games like Breath of the Wild. They aren't designed with any of that in mind. They just come out as they are, a full game, a fun. They're made to be fun, not made to make you want to buy microtransactions. Whereas like Diablo, I mean, it's just cosmetic, but it's still.
Well, yeah, but the Diablo, like you go into that knowing it's going to be a live service game.
Yeah. Versus a single player only.
A single player,
like
non-online, and they're, I don't know.
Capcom's biggest, from what I can see here, their biggest IPs. I mean, they do all the Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Obviously, so that's huge. Street Fighter, Devil May Cry, and this. They do a lot of other games too, but they're not quite on that level.
Devil May Cry does have time savers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The newest one, at least.
Paid?
Yeah.
I've really liked all the Resident Evils.
Those are great, and those don't really have
much
microtransactions. So I don't know if maybe that's more credit to the Resident Evil team, the developers themselves. But yeah, man, it's just stupid. And all started with horse armor,
Horse. Damn you, Bethesda. Fucking it up for everybody.
Look what you did to us.
They released more info on Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
And they have a playable build that they were like showing. And I'm like, are we still going to get hyped for Bethesda's shit? Like after everything that they've done in the last, like people are like already like shitting themselves. They're like, oh my God, it looks amazing. Like how long can you ride on the hype of like Skyrim?
I'm very
apparently a long ass time.
I'm very wary of their next game. I didn't even buy Starfield. Like, well, it was on Game Pass anyways, but I didn't buy it officially. I played it for like 30 minutes and I'm done. I was like, yeah, this isn't fun. Yeah. And I never went back. And so I'm sad because I love Skyrim.
I honestly though, I love Skyrim too, but after playing like games, open world games with like good gameplay, like going, especially after playing a game like Elden Ring, going back to play Skyrim is like rough. It's like the most basic, boring gameplay like ever.
And there's a lot. Well, it's really spaced out. And it's really like you're walking.
A lot of walking.
What's the name of this 6th game?
Just
right now, it's just Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know what the official title will be.
Is it a single player, or are they doing like a whole online
It'll be a single player thing.
okay.
They already have their Elder Scrolls Online. They're not going to...
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were coming out
I
with
doubt that it'll have any multiplayer in it at all.
And I think I looked, it's still on Creation Engine.
Yeah, the same engine they've been using since 2006.
Wow, almost
Just
as
so
old
you
as the
know.
COD engine.
Almost. By the time Elder Scrolls 6 come out, that engine will actually be over 20 years old. That is the most in the tech world. That's like saying, "Oh, this car was built in 1910." It's a beaut though. It runs great.
I'm
Still
pretty
works.
sure COD's still using their original one. They just keep updating it.
It must be like
But-
on like
they don't-
version 1, 2, or 3. Like
At least
Oh,
COD,
yeah.
there aren't many bugs. Like
That's why they use it.
It's an
Because the movement is
operational
all set,
engine.
Yeah.
You look at Fallout, like I mean, and this is any Bethesda fan can tell you. Every single game that's on Creation Engine, there's the same bug. Like, and the developers haven't fixed it. Every time there's a mod that goes in to fix it because it's simple, but it's like that bug is consistent throughout all the games, and all the games are super buggy on release. Like Fallout 4, I remember was pretty. It probably
lot of
still is
Fallout.
pretty buggy. Yeah.
all right, I did misspeak. Creation Engine was developed in 2011, so Skyrim was the first game to use Creation Engine.
Okay.
So it's not quite, but that's still pretty damn old.
Yeah.
12 years old, 13 years old at this point. Starfield used Creation Engine 2, but people were kind of... It wasn't really... It was more like an upscaled Creation. It wasn't a whole new engine. It wasn't like how Unreal goes from Unreal 3 to 4 to 5. Like, it's very, like... There's a visual...
Yeah.
Like, you can
There's a
see
clear
the
shift.
advancement in tech. That's not how it was at all. It was more like...
Progressive.
It was more like a 1.5 than it was an actual 2 Creation Engine. Yeah, I don't know. Bethesda's going to really have to show me something special for me to ever get hyped for one of their games again. But I haven't really been hyped for a Bethesda game in a long time. Last time I was hyped for a Bethesda game was Fallout 4, and I was whelmed.
Yeah.
I wasn't underwhelmed. It was just like, okay.
You're like,
It
wow.
wasn't
Doom?
anything too special.
Doom?
That's not Bethesda, though. They're...
Dude, that's an MMO.
No.
Doom.
Oh, I thought you said Dune. I'm sorry.
Doom is developed, I believe it was by
Id.
Machine Games, which is like... No, that's... Machine Games did Wolfenstein.
Is it id?
Id did Doom, and they're owned by Bethesda, but they're not. Bethesda's not the developers.
Yeah.
Just like Arcane is owned by Bethesda, but
It's not.
they're not. Bethesda's not the developers of the
Redfall.
Redfall. That
That's
was their
another live
first miss, though.
service. Yeah.
Although I've never really liked Arcane games, they usually are received really well.
Yeah, but that one, nope. Another live service fail. Why do companies keep trying to do that?
Because
Live
the
service?
money potential
but
is
what-
so high.
What's the live service that worked?
Oh my god.
That's
A
the
lot?
example for them.
I would argue,
for
like,
them?
Like for these companies are looking. What are they looking at when they're like, we want to be like that?
Fucking Roblox, Minecraft, fucking
Destiny, even.
Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Diablo, World of Warcraft. I mean, every major title that dominates today is a live service. Fortnite.
Probably
They're
Fortnite.
all live service games.
Mobile games make more money than
You create one IP and then you just have a creative team continue to iterate on that. I would say it's way easier to do that. I mean, if you can find the success, which I think you can only find that level of success if you're an established company. Like World of Warcraft came out and they had already done like 2 or 3 Warcrafts. So they had built a culture around that. And then boom, they hit everybody with World of Warcraft. And I mean, even today, they still have 7 million active subscribers. I mean, it's just like,
that's insane.
what an incredible online world. If that's your thing,
That's almost as many
It's so
people that
amazing.
follow our podcast.
Almost.
just give or take, yeah.
Yeah, give or take.
Something Cool Gaming asks, where's Cyberpunk 2? It's
Exactly.
coming in Unreal. They're doing it in Unreal
Yep.
Engine 5,
They're moving
right?
to Unreal 5. Yeah,
That's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a while for Cyberpunk though, because they're going back to Witcher for a game.
Yeah.
What do you, if you're the executive director, what do they call them? A game director for Cyberpunk 2, and you're the studio head, and you have all these developers that are Project Red. Like what's their? It's Project Red, right?
Their engine
Their
is
engine, or is it just Red?
It's just
Red
Red
Engine.
Yeah, Red Engine. Do you have to then let those people go and hire in Unreal Engine
I
talent?
imagine that if you
because
can't,
that's a massive learning curve.
if you're one of those developers, one of those engineers, whatever that their title would be, I imagine that if you don't adapt, then you're going to get cut.
Yeah.
Knowing how CD Projekt Red operates, I highly doubt they're going to go in and just give them the axe, but they are probably going to set like a precedent, like this is where we need to be as a team. If you're not there, then
because their next project is not Cyberpunk 2, right? It's actually Witcher.
It's Witcher.
It's like called Witcher like Links or something.
I mean,
like that.
they have.
And that's not going to be Unreal, is it?
It's going to be Unreal.
Oh shit! Everything is
Cyberpunk
was the last
over.
officially made them drop Red Engine, which unfortunately is actually a very beautiful engine. That game, when it runs, if you can get it to run right,
It runs well now.
It runs. I know, but like at launch, but like. Red Engine is very pretty. Some of the best facial animations are in Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy to see the level of difference between that game and like Starfield. Like
oof.
I want Guild Wars 3. That's for you, Billy. Thanks, Something Cool Gaming. Actually, the number one content creator for Guild Wars content
passed away.
Is Wooden Potatoes is his name. And
wood and potatoes.
Wooden.
Oh, wooden. I thought he was getting happy around potatoes.
No, it's he doesn't show his face, and it's just like literally a wooden potato. I don't know what it is a reference to, but he just did his thoughts for like what a remaster or remake would look in Guild Wars. And I've changed my mind about this so many times, but I don't want a remaster. What I want them to do is just come back and develop the original game. I don't want to split the population.
Isn't that a remaster?
No, it's a remake.
It's already there. No. It's like they just come back. It's already a game that exists. Like I can go play.
Oh, you mean
online.
you just want them to work on the first game?
Work on the game that
okay.
exists. So because you've already got a community, there's still thousands of people that play that game. Just start to implement your ideas into the actual game. So it's not like something separate that you then divide the player base even more on with your decisions and stuff like that. Listen, they did a LOD, which is how far you see things in the distance.
Uh-huh.
They did an LOD update like 4 years ago, and this got hundreds of thousands of views from Wooden Potatoes on when he usually averages like 20,000. So he gets so much more like traction. Like there's a lot of demand for this game, is what I'm saying.
So you just want them to like support the first game again?
Yeah, come back and develop on it. You've already got the world, you've already got the items and stuff like that, and I think they can make literally some of the smallest tweaks and really revitalize the community.
But why?
It'd be a lot of fun.
Why not the second game?
The second game still is their baby, so they still develop on that. They just had an expansion this year.
So would you, like in your mind, would they completely give up on number 2?
I'd like to see them develop both. I think there's a world where they can do both. Obviously, the monetization model will have to change for Guild Wars 1, but they could do both.
I don't know enough about that world to. I'm not gonna, even try and play devil's advocate because I don't know enough about the community to decide whether or not that'd be a good idea. I know that you have dedicated a huge portion of your life to this game, so if there's any authority to speak on what would be successful for them, that would be you. So
I feel like, well, because if you were to come back and do a remake, like there would be creative liberties that you would just have to take. For example, there's no jumping in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, you'd have to.
So like,
that a remake would be a whole new game.
Exactly.
You might as well just make 3 if you're going to do that.
Exactly. So it's like you come back and like there's a huge part of the community that say, "Don't touch my game." Like they don't want it to, like they love how the game plays. The fact that if you add a jump mechanic, it will change how a lot of the game plays. And so it's like, okay, but you're never going to draw in, like, jumping is so core to gaming these days.
Yeah.
You can't not have something like that.
No.
So I don't really know what the answer is, but It is a shame. Like they said they were gonna keep in parallel run Guild Wars 1 and 2 when Guild Wars 2 came out, and then they had one patch after Guild Wars 2 dropped, and that was it. ArenaNet has been just pretty shitty as a development team to support their franchises. But anyway, I started talking about this because I was going to mention we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary. And in the 15-year anniversary, we got like a huge update where they added skills and shit like that. And it was like, whoa, where the fuck did this come from? I think they're going to announce something big on the 20th anniversary because they've been working on a secret project now for a few years. And we don't know what that is.
Cyberpunk.
ArenaNet took over the IP.
I don't think it's going to be Guild Wars 3 because then that's going to do what they did to Guild Wars 1 and just kill the community in Guild Wars 2. And Guild Wars 2 is like the 4th most popular MMO. And then you just further split your player base even more. I think it's going
What
to be
if it's like
something
a fresh IP?
I think it is.
What if it's like a sci-fi MMO? Something totally different compared to...
Please give me something cool to play because from ArenaNet's philosophy is, I think, the greatest philosophy like ever. Like, Guild Wars 1 was, we're going to make a game, you buy it, and then you play it. Like, what MMO doesn't have a, like, especially at that time, didn't have a subscription or anything like that. And it's still that way today. Like, you just log in. I logged in. I play all the time. You just log in, and it's like, it just works. And you're like, I bought this game 20 fucking years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could still play it online by their hosted server. It's just amazing. And Guild Wars 2, it's pretty much all cosmetics and some quality of life stuff, and it's a little more questionable, but you could buy gold, which is just absolutely the worst decision they ever made. But I get why they do it because I've spent hundreds of dollars buying gold because I'm like, well, I could work for 15 minutes or I can grind for 70 hours.
What do I really want to do here?
Yeah, it's like, how much do I value my time?
What genre would they have to go into where you would completely write off the next game? Like if it's still an MMO, if it's still.
Let me tell you guys where I'm at. I miss dedicating myself to one game. I don't really like jumping from game to game to game to game. I don't like that. I don't have a lot of fun doing that. I really enjoy learning every fucking little intricacy of one game and getting really good at one game because it's very satisfying for me, especially a competitive game. So that I'm drawn automatically then to online games and with large communities that it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of interactions to be had. And so I want to dive. I honestly am like very open-minded to like what my next game is. I'm looking at Dune. I think that could be a really cool setting. I'm not really crazy about the survival elements. I've never been a big survival game guy, but I want to be like, I've honestly, like if World of Warcraft comes to Game Pass, I might pick it up. As crazy as that seems. Now, I wouldn't probably play what they call retail, which is like the core game that I'm fucking 2 decades behind now on. But they have like things called like Seasons of Discovery or Classic and stuff like that are set up to be very welcoming to new players. And I might check that out. But I want something that I can go in and like burn, hundreds of hours in and get like really, really good. I miss that. I started to get it a little bit with Diablo 4. I can't seem to get back into it that way. I've tried. I've gone back to the original Guild Wars.
Sound like an addict.
But I get it. I get it for me anymore.
There's certain games where I get that hit. Like the last big one was probably Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
Or no, there's been more since that came out. Probably Spider-Man.
I never got it with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was too short though. I feel like it wasn't a long high. It was.
I liked Spider-Man 2 a lot, but it didn't grip me the way that Elden Ring did.
No.
I think ArenaNet. I'm reading a comment here. I think ArenaNet are working on a Horizon MMO, or NC Software. It's ArenaNet who is the developers. NC Soft is the publishers.
Horizon Zero Dawn,
or the Horizon Zero Dawn.
That one.
What are you talking? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Or Horizon the Forza or the car game
racing.
Oh God! Please don't make a fucking racing game.
Racing MMO.
They know nothing about that.
They should.
That would be wild.
Would that be the genre where you'd be like, I don't know about this, big dog?
I don't know. I couldn't get into a racing
game. MMO where you'd like
imagine like a little NPC, like a little fucking car in like a town, and you're like You don't have a character. You're just a fucking car.
There's no character at all. You can't even get out of your vehicle.
No, it's just literally
Time
a
to
car.
race.
I don't know. I don't know if
I
that's-
imagine that there's a racing MMO that when you're in hub areas, you can get out of your vehicle, but
Well, like Forza Horizon is trying to be as close as you can to like MMO light, because you're in a big hub world. You're driving around. Other people are driving around, and you can race them on the spot, or you can, if you go somewhere, it'll queue you up with everybody who goes there. So they're trying, but you can't get out of the car, and that's like, to me, that's boring. If I can't get out of the car,
there's only so, like, I like racing games, but like there's only so much I could put into a racing game,
Yeah.
and it, like, it's only fun for a little bit. Like,
What is the content? You literally just fucking drive fast.
yeah, the
It's
only
stop go.
and the only incentive is getting new cars, better parts. But it's like, when you don't know most of these cars because they're fucking super sports cars, you're like, I have no clue. And
Yeah.
have you guys played Forza Horizon at all?
No, but I've watched Awesome. Planet.
It's their way of unlocking
beautiful.
cars is so strange. It's like gambling. Like you have a
course
roulette
it is.
wheel. And I find that so weird. For like
A single player, yeah.
like the last car game I really got into was like Midnight Club.
Yeah, Midnight Club 3 was the
LA,
last
is
one.
that-
It was called Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
Dub.
And it was made by Rockstar. And like,
And that had a good story.
yeah, if I remember right, it was like there was like you can go to Detroit, San Diego, like 3 different towns. And this was like what, 15 years
It's a
ago
while.
maybe.
Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero.
So like that
MMO?
setting, like an MMO of that setting.
Are they close in company wise? Like ArenaNet and
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think so. ArenaNet has only ever made Guild Wars.
Yeah, what? How did they get even? How would they even get that IP? It's like owned by Guerrilla Games, which subsequently is owned by Sony.
Well,
Yeah.
NCSoft, the publishers of Guild Wars, is making Throne and Liberty, which is a new MMO that's coming out. It's already out in Korea, but it's a fucking Korean MMO, so it's pay to win. And it just, like, I probably am going to check it out, but because I think it's free to play, but, like, it's pay to win. Like, that's not fun. I don't even know how that's popular in those cultures. How is that fun? When you could just wail hard and brag, big dick it.
you know, because they
There-
want to escape.
Okay, so there is going to be a Horizon MMO. It's going to be by NCSoft, but not ArenaNet.
Okay.
So it is separate
Yeah, that's
from
it.
ArenaNet.
That's
Huh.
NCSoft then.
No.
NCSoft.
Wait, so who's NCSoft?
They're the publishers for Guild Wars 2.
They're
Or N1.
publishers, but not the developers.
Correct.
Developers is
They're the ones
ArenaNet?
that are, yeah,
Okay.
Arena. They're and ArenaNet. The original studio is from our Blizzard spinoffs,
Okay.
and
It's like Bandai Namco has like a million games that aren't developed by From Software.
exactly.
You
It's like
know?
Bethesda
Yeah.
and id.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and they just offer them funding, and sometimes they're so fucking. I hate how they. At least I don't know what the reality is, but I hate how they sometimes have too loose of oversight and then too strict of oversight. Like ArenaNet can't get out of their own damn way. I swear to God, like they went off to make Guild Wars 3. That's the rumor, at least, for like
Yeah.
2 years. Dedicated like 200 people, 200 developers to making it, and then gave up on it after 2 years. And was like, maybe just keep doing Guild Wars 2. How
so
the
much
fuck do
hours
you
and
do
money
that,
lost.
dude?
Like
2
what?
years.
That is wild.
And they do stupid shit like this. They'll abandon projects before they get into it, and then they'll hype you up to oblivion on these new features that are coming, and they'll come out 6 years later. It
See,
feels
but
like.
Billy, would you rather them do that, or would you rather
Charge a
them
subscription.
do what Skull and Bones did and know the game was shit and then delay it 6 times and still release it and see that it's garbage and
I totally respect
possibly ruin pirate games forever?
that. I totally respect that.
You respect that more than
No. Respect that they canceled. them.
okay. I was
totally
about to say I
respect
would
that
rather
they
have it
canceled them.
cancel. I don't want to see that piece of garbage
You know
in
what? That
front of
took
me.
balls. I like it.
They knew it was garbage. And they're like, it's a quadruple A
Released it
game.
anyway.
But you just watch them like shoot themselves in the foot, and you're like, just do something good. Stop doing this, please.
That
Support
made
your
me
game.
think of that Incredibles meme. It was like, what are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Something amazing, I guess. Yeah, me too.
Well, I was switching topics to talk about a good game. I picked up Pacific Drive.
Yeah.
And that game is a blast. I'm having a ton of fun with it. It's I bought it on PS5. It was like $30. You can tell it's like a Kickstarter game, or it might be. I don't know. I haven't confirmed it, but you can tell that it's like, it feels like something where it started out small and they just got funding to add cool, fun stuff. But it's really fun. What the basic gist of it for people who don't know is, you own this car. Well, like, you end up in this area called like the exclusion zone.
Seen this game
Yeah,
before.
and it's actually a lot of fun. I wasn't gonna give it a chance until I did, and I was like, oh. But you're in this, like, it's almost like a SCP paranormal exclusion zone where, like, there's scientists that were experimenting on something and basically made the area uninhabitable. You get linked to this car. You find this car, and it ends up the car is like also a paranormal entity somehow. I don't know the answers to it yet, but and the whole gameplay is it's like a roguelike. So you'll go to the garage with the car, right? And then you plan a route. You go look at the map, you plan a route, and their whole excuse is like, because of what happened, when you drive, you just think of where you're going and you'll end up there. And so it's like, you can't really, unless you know where you're going, you can't really go anywhere, because you have to, like, it's weird science stuff. But so you'll go out, plan your route. You basically go to each place, you collect scrap, you collect all these like, resources, and then there's this other resource that, like, once you collect it, you can create a portal to get out of that map, and then you drive into the portal and you're back at the garage. And that's the basic loop, but it's a lot of fun. It reminds me of, like, if you were to take a lot of Subnautica, like in the aspect of resource gathering and upgrading equipment, and like, you need this to open this, you need this for this, and you're building up your repertoire of stuff, and like more armor so you can go farther, more gas so you can get further, and but then you also had, like, in the mystery element of almost like, I'd say it's closer to Portal, like it's like a comedy science, like, it's not meant to be scary it's creepy, but it's kind of meant to be like kind of silly. And then, gotcha. But yeah, I've been playing that, and I'm 9 hours in now.
Pacific Drive. I would definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's single player, and it's kind of like, it's supposed to be just a journey of like you and this car.
It's not about the destination.
So yeah, it's not about the destination.
It's about the journey.
About the journey. Yeah. But I like the loop of, like, you go out, you get stuff, you upgrade your car, and like, you're always having to repair parts. You can upgrade certain parts of it. There's cosmetics you can add to the car that you just find out and about. And then there's weird anomalies. I want to know how to kill them. I don't know how to kill any of them yet. I wish I could.
Maybe you can't.
That'd suck. I want to kill things.
That would ruin the game fundamentally for me.
I need to kill anomalies.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kill anomalies.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
But you can. I think it was a PC game first, because you can kind of tell, like, how you drive the car is like, you get in the car, turn on the key, shift into drive, and then you drive, and like the camera.
Do I have to press a button for each one of those movements?
Yes.
I don't like that.
So you get upgrades as time goes on, right? You get one that automatically shifts the car for you
Can
into
I pay
driver park.
$2.99 to get an upgrade?
No.
Not have to do that.
No, but I already have that upgrade to where, like, as soon as I leave the car, it puts it in park, so I don't have to worry about shifting
That's
anymore.
a special upgrade.
Yeah.
So it's real.
My truck does that.
Well, it does. As soon as you leave the car, it automatically puts it in park.
No,
okay,
just kidding.
That would have been cool.
I just step out.
Yeah.
Knows that I stepped out.
It's like, as you're going like 50 down the highway.
I'm trying to jump out of my vehicle while it's moving, and it slows down to where it's not. I just fall. Damn it! I was trying to jump out action hero style. You know what game that I have went back to?
What?
Recently?
Cyberpunk.
And I thought about this. No, I'm just kidding.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
Really?
Yeah,
Tell
it's
us about
wild. I don't know when's the last time you guys played this game, but no, I was thinking about this when you were talking about like the not being able to jump, because that is such a fundamental thing, and you can't jump in this game, and it takes a little bit of playing before you're like, what the fuck? Why can't I even just do something as simple as jump? But then you get used to it. Kingdoms of Amalur.
Oh.
I've just been like wanting to play a game.
The Re-Reckoning?
Yeah, the Re-Reckoning, which is the same game. I can't tell the difference.
Are you playing the Re-Reckoning or just the regular?
Yeah, because I'm playing on PS5.
Okay.
And I forgot that I love that game. That game is I'm like 8 hours deep
I forgot
right now.
you couldn't jump. Can't you juggle enemies?
You can like hit enemies into the air. I primarily play as like a mage in that game.
Huh.
I know. Wild, right?
What's the gameplay loop?
It's not it's not very in depth. Like you have like maybe 4 different styles of attacks depending on what class you are. It might be a little too basic for your liking, to be honest with you.
It's like
I know what type of game you like.
If I remember, there's a light and heavy attack.
There's light, heavy, and then you can like there's like different weapon types. There's like staffs, scepters, swords, great swords, like things like that. But then they all kind of do the exact same thing, but they just become more powerful. Like they do more damage as you level up, but there's not a whole lot of variation from level 1 to max level, other than everything you do just becomes better. So it's fun gameplay. It's just it's not like intelligent. It's not like super in depth or involved.
And
When
you
this
can't
game come
jump.
out?
God, like 2012, 13,
Yeah.
something like that.
The
But
Re-Reckoning, though, came out.
the Re-Reckoning came out, and it was literally the exact same game. I can't even tell the difference. Like it didn't even look like it's like a better frame rate or anything. Like it doesn't look polished in any way. It looks the exact same to me. And it was a PS3 game, or at least I played it originally on PS3. And then they released the Re-Reckoning, and you could play it on PS5. But like, it's very like. It almost feels very like anime in a way, where you're fighting like kaijus at some points, and like the lore is super deep. It was developed by the guy that did all the Drizzt books for Dungeons and Dragons, and like an ex-developer from Bethesda who worked on like Oblivion, and then they came over. And the studio I think it's called like Big Huge Games. It's defunct now. It was bought out by this other company that re-released it. But there's a weird story behind it. Like the guy that created Big Huge Games was like a former professional baseball player, something like that, and then just like created a game studio. It was weird. And then they released this game. It flopped, and then the studio flopped. But like. It's a weird, so like if you are into like the lore behind how these things develop and happen, that's an interesting read for sure. The whole
Re-Reckoning came out 2020. The original came out 2012.
2012. Man, I got that year, man. Right on. I did not think it was.
So what's crazy to me is like I played the original game. I didn't think there was that big of a fan base to warrant Re-Reckoning.
It was super underground.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why it even got a Re-Reckoning. It was weird. It was like the people that got the IP were just like whatever and like to
just marketed
just
it.
to get a couple bucks, like. But I was one of the few people that like loved that game. So when that happened, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna play the shit out of this."
Have you seen what's going on with the Star Wars collection?
Oh God, dude!
And the like the fact that the original games were. Like the ones that I think were re-released were like 3 and 5 gigabytes. That's all they were.
Yeah.
And the new one's like 60. It's because they use like AI to upscale everything, and there's like a lot of cases where it looks worse. It's so bad.
Aspire Media is, I don't know why they keep getting agency to work on these Star Wars games. They re-released Knights of the Old Republic. They
do it for
re-released
$5 and a can of Coke.
Yeah, they re-released the Battlefronts 1 and 2. They re-released like the Jedi Knight series. And they have literally done nothing to improve or update any of these games.
Do you know how many concurrent players on PC there are for that game?
12?
300.
300.
300.
They had all the opportunity in the world.
There was like tens of thousands of people like that were hyped up.
They didn't even need to have like the game.
Well, they needed
if it looked
the reworks, republish those and host servers.
If the game looked the way it looks now, that's not a problem for people. All they had to do is have a reliable server and minimal bugs, any amount of work on the bugs, and they could have really done something with this. Talk about fumbling the bag, man.
I don't want to say I called it, but
it's the only game I've ever refunded.
Really?
I actually refunded it. I got my money back.
I actually beat Star Wars Battlefront 2.
The
classic edition. I went through the campaign.
Oh,
yeah.
And
that for me was my money's worth.
I really enjoyed the single player part. I was like, oh, this is cool. But once I found out that they had copied like a modder's work, that was where I drew the line.
Oh,
really? There was like some modder's code in the game that they promised it wouldn't be in
they're
there.
like, oh no, it's not.
And it was. And
it's pretty shady.
I was like, okay, you don't deserve my money, so I refunded it
Super
before I hit
shady.
that 2 hour mark. But because you could do that with Steam up to 2 hours. I don't know what is it same for PS5?
As soon as you play
it's
it,
over.
It's Jover.
Job over.
It's Jover.
It's Jover.
Fucking over.
Yeah, that's why I wish Xbox or PlayStation had something like the
If
the
you
2 hour
could,
window
within 2 hours
but
and
no.
a week or a week or 2 weeks.
There's
I know-
not really a whole lot of games that I ever would refund.
Well,
I've never done one.
Sony did do it for Cyberpunk. Like you could when it first came out.
Well,
I remember that.
so there was a lot of controversy around that because CD Projekt Red was like, if you want a refund, take it up with Sony, not us.
Yeah.
And Sony did,
And
and they were like,
Sony was like, Sony's like, the fuck? You think you can stand up to us? We're Sony. You're a little developer. And they completely just took everything off of their. So you couldn't buy that game on PlayStation for like over a year. Like they lost out on so much because of them saying that stupid fucking like. Why would you say that about?
to your distribution partner.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way of people buying your game. I mean, still obviously PC and the other console, but like, really? That's no. Can't
Yeah,
do it.
they did not. They did not play their hand well in that situation. CD Projekt Red. But yeah, no, I was playing Kingdoms of Amalur, and I like. It's like a beautiful world. It's stylized and almost like kind of the way like Fable looks.
Well, what I remember from when it did come out is Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane
was
did the
one of
art,
he helped art.
art design behind it.
Mhm.
The only thing that's lacking a little bit for me is that soundtrack just doesn't really hit. I need a really good soundtrack. I know that's a weird thing but like, if you're playing a game and you're in an open world and you're forced to listen to something while you're running from point A to point B, I would rather it be good. That's one of the reasons Skyrim is so good is because they have a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that.
Well, I mean, think of the game I sent you guys today. That one with Will Smith. That has like no sound in certain sections.
That's a mobile game. It made
I
me.
didn't know that.
That's
it made me
crazy.
not forgive it. It made me accept it a little bit more. I was like, oh, okay, this is only on iOS and Android. I thought that was like a console or like a full. I was like, what the hell is
He's
this?
clearly mouthing, but there's no audio.
Yeah, so that's. But I wanted to talk a little bit about X-Men.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys can't really contribute to this because you haven't watched it.
No.
Real
Quick before you begin, Billy, what's your? Do you like X-Men? Like on a hero level?
Is Deadpool considered X-Men?
He's a partner. I mean, he's a mutant, but he's a collaborator of the X-Men, but he's not an X-Men.
Some of the X-Men are some of my favorite characters. It's just like superheroes, and then some of them I could care less about. I think they're some of the most.
There's so
when
many.
I talk
of them.
about fucking like power curves, like in the Marvel universe, like I feel like the ones that we see at least on like X-Men are fucking to the max, dude. Like the shit that they can do, you're like, oh.
Well,
fuck.
in the Marvel universe, some of the most powerful beings in Marvel are mutants.
Yep.
Jean Grey,
Magneto.
Scarlet Witch. They changed it a little bit for the MCU, but in the comics, she's a full-on mutant. She's the daughter of Magneto. Scarlet Witch. But they changed it because when they introduced her to the MCU, at that time they didn't have rights to the X-Men, so they had to change her origin story. But in the comics, she's the daughter of Magneto. And so just, characters like that. I love the X-Men, and I think that the movies are very hit or miss. They have a lot of duds, but they also have a lot of fantastic.
They have a lot of good
films.
ones.
Like First Class. I fucking love First Class.
To me, that's probably my favorite.
Well, they were the MCU before the MCU.
Yeah.
X-Men, the original X-Men.
I like X-Men 1 and I like X-Men 2. X-Men 3 kind of fell off. X-Men Origins has good moments, but it fell off. The Wolverine. I like the
Wolverine's
Wolverine.
Good.
Obviously Logan. Masterclass. Deadpool's obviously good. I mean,
I always say like I wish we get a rated R movie, and then we have Deadpool, and so like those are so good. I want them all to be rated R. Fuck it. You just have so much more fun, I think.
But X-Men is as a kid at least I kind of grew away from it. But as a kid, I liked X-Men just as much as I like Spider-Man. But then as I got older, I kind of grew away from the X-Men. But watching this show, X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, has like reignited my love for the X-Men. It is so fucking good. Only 2 episodes have dropped so far. But it has, like, if you even remotely like the X-Men, this show's an absolute banger. I think the consensus across the board is pretty positive.
From what I've been seeing on the internet,
online, everyone's loving it, saying it's like the best thing that Disney's done in a while.
Better than Loki.
I didn't watch it, so I'm no comment.
Wish he would. Wish he'd take our recommendation.
Yeah, we should. We just straight jizzed over that whole show, and he never watched.
But
continue.
Well, that's on you.
That's on us.
You obviously didn't sell it very well to me.
Wow.
Be a better.
Billy was basically like orgasming the whole time he was watching Loki.
I not sell it?
He actually
this
wrote
is the greatest installment from the MCU.
You actually, at one point, you wrote in our Discord. You said, "Not only is this my favorite MCU project, this might be my favorite show of all time." Is what you said about Loki season 2.
And Kyle was still like, "That's not enough."
There was some reason that I didn't watch it. It came out at the same time as something else.
You spoiled it all for yourself. No, you were tired of Marvel. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Are you hearing squeakiness?
Are you guys hearing that?
Yeah, it is. Something's going on.
Oh, I thought that was you going
no.
with your lips just now.
No, I thought it was him.
Yeah, because I do that so often.
No.
It was me with my mouth open. I'm that good of a...
Well, while he's talking.
Yeah, I'm a ventriloquist. I've been working on this. What do you guys think? The only thing I can do is make squeaky noises. I can't talk. So X-Men 97.
Yeah.
It picks up pretty much exactly where the original animated series leaves off. You don't need to watch the original series to know what's going on. You just need to know who the X-Men are. As long as you know who these characters are, even the ones you don't know, it's pretty. It's not like you're going to be lost. You're not going to be lost if you know anything about the X-Men at all. The basics. Humans don't like mutants. The X-Men are there to defend. Magneto and Professor X were best friends, and they slowly drifted apart. If you know that,
What's Magneto's
you know
team
enough.
called?
The Brotherhood of Mutants.
Brotherhood of Mutants.
If you know that, then you know enough to watch the show. Like you don't need to like. There's things like nuance of how like Logan, is in love with Jean Grey, but Jean Grey is married to Cyclops. Shit like that. It's not anything new. So with that said, you can go into the show, and I think that you could really, really enjoy this. It picks up Charles is dead, and Scott Cyclops has kind of been thrust into this leadership position. He's not super good at it just yet, because he's still trying to feel out his way of being the leader. They go on this really epic mission. They kick ass. And then at the end of the episode, you see it in the trailer, but Magneto's like, Charles left everything to me. And he did, because he has faith in Magneto still to come around. It's sort of like a Martin Luther King, Malcolm X type thing, where that's kind of like the approach that they're going at. But they don't dumb down the dialogue for children. I mean, obviously, it's like still like they want kids to watch it and enjoy it, but like they don't dumb it down for children. It's a very smart show. They don't hold back. They don't pull their punches. And I would highly recommend that if you like anything Marvel, they at least give this show a chance. The animation, for some, I know that it's like it's kind of choppy a little bit. It runs at like 30 frames.
It's kind of like 3D-ish.
It's cell shaded.
Cell shaded.
It almost kind of, funny enough, it almost kind of looks like that cartoon Archer.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that a little bit. That's the design.
How's
It
the voice acting?
took me about 5 minutes to be like, this is good. Voice acting. There are some characters that I think there's no bad voice acting. There are some that are definitely shining more than others. Jennifer Hale is in it. She plays
Who's she?
Jean Grey.
Ah,
I don't know the name of the voice actor for Magneto, but holy shit, he does an amazing job. Like he's anything you want Magneto, he is that version of it. He gives this speech to the UN. It's so good in that speech.
What is how old is Magneto in this? Is he older at this point or is he younger?
He's grade, but he's he's not like
So Ian McKellen, Magneto, not
he's like
Michael Fassbender.
I would say he's somewhere in between Michael Fassbender and Ian McKellen.
Oh, okay.
Like cuz he's still fit, he's like decently sized dude.
Got some girth.
Got some girth to him. He's not frail, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But he's not like old.
it's Matthew Watterson.
Matthew Watterson for Magneto.
The only thing we will like, I'm going through right now, but it looks like in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, he's Bode Akuna.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy that like betrays you, right? Is that guy?
No,
that is Bode. Yeah. Wait. Well, this is confusing.
hold on.
He's Bode Akuna twice?
He's not Bode Akuna.
Well, because right. Oh, he's previs. Oh, interesting. He was Bode Akuna in the previs.
What's that?
Like pre-visualization when they're still coming up with the script. He just does a quick, voice of it, I guess.
So but for the actual release?
But for the actual release, he was a Jawa.
Okay.
Okay, so he was Virgil in Fallout 4. He looks like he does a lot of video games and anime. He was a narrator for Diablo 4. He was the narrator for... I don't even remember there being a narrator in Diablo 4, to be honest with you.
Huh.
But anyways, he does an amazing job so far. They have a lot of the original voice actors from the 90s cartoon. It's like Wolverine is the same as he was. Storm's the same. But I'm excited for where this is going to go. They set up some pretty good story arcs. There's this one story arc, I think it's called Life Death, that focuses around Storm. They set that up. They set up this story arc around this clone saga with I think it's Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey, where they were like clones of Jean Grey, and they set that up. So there's a lot of really cool ways that they can go with this. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I would give the first 2 episodes, I'll give episode 1 a 9 out of 10, and I'll give episode 2 probably 10 out of 10 so far. So I'm really hoping that
they stick with it.
They finish this strong because I've been hyped. I've been super hyped. I'm loving the X-Men again, and I'm happy that this is an MCU project. Oh, and that's the whole thing. They have a whole division now for MCU animation. So you know how there's the Marvel intro where it shows all the characters and it flashes. So it does that same thing, but it shows like all the animated characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so it even has like stuff from like What If in the intro title. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, and you guys should definitely check it out.
Hopefully it stays good, and I mean, if it does, I said this about Loki, but from what it sounds like with what Kyle's saying, if it does stay good, please let these writers or whoever's in charge of this show and Loki
be involved in X-Men.
Let them be involved in anything bigger, like because this is good. The movies we've had were not like that. The level that Loki and X-Men are on versus this, 2 different leagues in my opinion. Like Loki. Like, even the best recent Marvel movie, I would say wasn't even close to Loki. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, from what you're telling me.
Loki had some of the best Marvel writing of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the and not only that, but like the creative vision and direction for the set and how they built that whole storyline. It kind of came together in perfection. And so I 100% agree. Coming from Thor Love and Thunder, I think was the last one that came out before. No, what was the one that just came out right before? No, it was Guardians. No, it wasn't. It was the one that...
Was it Ant-Man?
Guardians was the most recent.
What's the one
right?
that did the Bollywood?
The Marvels.
Miss Marvels. Coming from that to fucking Loki.
I didn't see the Marvels.
Me neither.
Don't waste your time.
I didn't even see Ant-Man 3.
That's crazy.
That's okay. I mean,
I haven't seen.
It has good parts.
I haven't seen all of the Black Widow movie.
Oh, that's fine.
I haven't seen. There's so many. I'm so behind now. It's ridiculous.
Well, Black Widow was a long time ago, wasn't it?
I know, but I never.
That was like COVID.
I skipped that one.
You saw Shang-Chi, though, right?
I saw it with you.
Together.
Good.
I loved that one.
That one's so good.
That was awesome.
I want a second one.
Shang-Chi is in X-Men 97. I'm just kidding.
He just shows up. Hey, guys.
It literally takes place.
It doesn't do that once.
I know. Not once did he do that. It takes place in the 90s. So, like, they did that specifically to, like, predate anything, I guess. It's not, like, in canon with the MCU. It's its own thing. But there is something kind of visually appealing about, like, the 90s style, like, their clothing.
It's very colorful.
Very colorful. Like, it has that same kind of appeal to it as, like, when Stranger Things first came out. And you're like, oh, the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost feels like there's some kind of nostalgia that I can relate to a little bit more than the 80s, you know? Puffy pants.
Puffy pants. We saw on the screen Billy had pulled up, they're like in casual clothes, and it's like a tank top that's like...
Yeah, they were like, in that scene, they were like playing basketball, like the X-Men. And then they were, and like Jean Grey was all pregnant, and she's like reffing in a ref outfit.
So, how do you guys think, since we're on the top of X-Men, how do you think we're gonna get them in the MCU?
I think it'll die off before they ever do that.
The MCU will die off?
Yeah.
Before they get the X-Men?
Yeah. I don't
Depends on the success
so
of their next
fucking-
few movies.
Wow.
Like, are we talking like full immersion or like one or two characters?
The
I
MC
like the full.
Introducing the X-Men is as hefty a task as
Yeah.
introducing a full team of Avengers.
So you think the MCU is gonna die?
Yes.
I'm
Such a long
mind blown
build
by
up.
that answer. I didn't think
Well,
you had that little faith in the future of the MCU.
Well, it's not gonna be the MCU that we understand and know today. Like,
It wasn't even 5 years ago.
yeah, well, exactly. Like, to do that, they have to set up all the X-Men shit, and then they have to grow and build this current version of the MCU. We're talking at least 10 years, I would say.
Well, what if they
before
bring
can do
in
that.
Fantastic
what-
Four
what
and X-Men at
movie-
the same time?
What movie are they doing? Are they fucking defeating Arishem? Like,
Well, they
to
had
do
to change their
X-Men with
whole
the
arc
MCU,
because of Jonathan Majors. So they had to change that whole shit.
So you have like that movie would have to be bigger than Avengers to bring all the X-Men and all the MCU that exists at that time into one movie. Like, you're just talking fucking more than Endgame, like in terms of collaboration. Like,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
That is so big. I just don't know how they do it.
I
Does it need to?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I give a shit about the movies right now. I'd rather they just focused on good stuff like this, like good series, good individual projects. I'm kind of over everything needing to be in service of something greater.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I miss having just
Working
like
towards that.
individually good films.
Yeah.
You
Well, I was
know?
actually talking with my friend Malachi over the weekend, and I was saying that I personally think the issue with the MCU right now is that everything has to be connected to everything, and like that's why I like Shang-Chi so much, is that it barely has anything to do with anything until the very end, and even then it's like just a little, hey,
Yeah.
those bracelets, what are they? But
Which
otherwise,
is what they did in the original
yeah.
phases.
And so it's like, I think that's their issue, is they're trying to interconnect it too much instead of just making a good standalone, like it can stand on its own 2 feet film.
It really they
Or
all
character, I
all the
guess.
movies stood on their own. I would argue up until like just before Infinity War and Endgame. Then they started kind of building towards this Infinity War Endgame.
But that made sense because of
it
like,
worked, yeah.
Yeah, you built up the stakes, you built up, like it wouldn't make sense if we're waiting for Infinity War and we get a movie that's like low stakes, you know, like butterflies and puppies, and it's like, no,
But like
stuff's about to go down.
pre Infinity War Endgame, like even like leading up to Avengers,
Mhm.
all those movies could just stand on their own just fine. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have to know anything about the other movies for it to be good.
I mean, Iron Man was the first one, and that you could just watch that.
Other than the last 15 or 90 last minute of every movie,
See?
there was something.
Yeah, and that's like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Did the same thing where it's like, the rest of the movie didn't matter at all. But until the end, then it's like, okay, you get a little hint. Maybe they're doing something. So I hope they go back to that formula, and maybe they are with what they're slowing down. They're doing less releases and stuff like that. Maybe they're giving them more time. I did notice a trend too, as far as like Marvel. If you look at like the writers of these last few movies, they don't have a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I'm not
They don't got the stuff.
Stuff of what?
like a lot of repertoire work that they've done
Oh.
good.
They don't have a resume.
It's like they worked on Curb Your Enthusiasm a couple episodes, and now they have a Marvel movie.
You know why? It's because they had success with
The Russo brothers.
the Russo brothers.
Where did they come from?
Arrested Development,
Oh my god. Well, I mean,
and they showed the fuck up.
yeah.
But before that, I think Arrested Development was like
Wow,
all they did.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That's why they're probably doing that. They're like,
Gotta have faith in these comedy writers. Like, and they said that's what allowed them to make the Avengers movies work, is because they were very used to working with ensemble casts and trying to connect storylines of like 4 seasons of whatever.
oh,
And so they said that even though the content was very different, the approach was the exact same as they did to sitcom. So it's kind of interesting.
So what about Fantastic Four? You guys are like zero hype for it.
I'm not hyped on it being a period piece, taking place like forever ago.
X-Men '97 is a period piece.
different. This is a live action film that's supposed to be connected to the MCU. It's not its own standalone thing. So that's why I'm like, why do I care about the Fantastic Four in like what is this supposed to be, the 60s?
I'm not sure.
It's weird. Like, I don't know. But I'll reserve
They're
judgment.
just doing that for aesthetic purposes?
I don't know. I have no
Or
idea.
are we expected to think that they're from the 60s?
They actually, what they're going to do is they're going to do a Fantastic Four is going to be the Forrest Gump. And all 4 of them are going to play a version of Forrest Gump.
Dylan, where can people find us?
I like that idea. It'll be 4 Forrest Gumps.
4 Forrest Gumps, and it's all different versions of him.
All played by Tom Hanks, right?
And he even plays Sue Storm. And
It's him in a wig.
and it's going to follow the Fantastic Four's journey from birth in the 50s all the way up until the 80s when one of
Vietnam.
the characters ends up getting AIDS and dying, and then they have to raise a child together as one collective Forrest Gump.
Could you imagine the Thing just running and going, I was running.
I think that's a great idea. We should copyright that.
Yes, let's
is our
copyright
content.
2 giant IPs together.
Hey,
Let's send an email.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
to who? The copyright
Let's get our
office?
lawyers on it.
I just write the copyright office at yahoo.com. We are
They'll know.
interested
They'll
in
know.
the copyright of.
Check out our viewer count.
It
Hey.
dropped off a cliff.
No. I mean, for to get the IP rights.
We, I mean, I don't mean to brag, copyright leaders of
Talking
these
double digits
companies,
here.
but we have more than 20 subscribers.
So
It's a lot.
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And only 6 of them are our moms.
6 of them?
We have 6 moms between the 3 of us.
Progressive.
I got my first mom, my second mom, third mom.
They're all Dylan's, mostly. He's got 4. We got the other 2.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Where can people find us?
They can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, any large podcast listening platform, and come check us out Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time, where we stream like we are right now, and hopefully you're watching. And you can also watch, after the fact too. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys.
so where's he going after hours?
Yeah, we have our After Dark stream, where we
It
just
starts
kind
That's on a different website.
we just kind of shoot the shit and
We shoot shit.
we shoot shit and we turn on the neon
it's
light.
FPS Russia content, but we're shooting piles of shit.
That's
All right, let's end this.
Yeah. Remember, with a good KD, you get the dub.
Bye, guys.